What is a woman and what does she go through? Tracking my menstrual cycle, day 3. So today is day 3 of my mens. So I am actually still bleeding. It's been pretty heavy today, but not too bad, not unmanageable. I've been cramping a little bit of hip and back pain, but not too terrible, not as bad as it was the previous 2 days. Most of the pain has subsided. Every now and then I get like a little sharp throb or something like that, but other than that, it's not too bad. I've been eating light, I've been drinking a lot of water, and I've been doing some yoga to help stretch my legs and my hips. Nothing too intense because I don't want to overwork my body, but stretching my hips and my legs is helping open my hips. It makes things flow easier and it increases the blood flow into the rest of the half of my body. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about what is going on in day 1 through 14, specifically day 1 through 5 of your menstrual cycle. The menstrual cycle is broken down into 3 main phases. You have the follicular phase, you have ovulation, and then you have the luteal phase. The follicular phase is the phase that we are in right now. This lasts day 1 through 13 of your cycle. And your cycle is not a full month. It is not 30, it is not 31 days. It is typically 28 to 29 and a half days, an actual moon cycle. So what happens with our hormones? Our ovaries are going into overdrive. Our ovaries is the main producer of our estrogen and our progesterone. These 2 hormones are very important in creating a healthy environment for the fertility. So those 2 hormones will go into detail later when we're in ovulation, but right now what it does basically is creates a healthy uterine wall and a healthy environment in your uterus to make it fertile for an embryo to grow. So day 1 through 3, your estrogen and progesterone levels are at the lowest. Right before you hit the follicular phase, during those PMS days, the symptoms, your estrogen and your progesterone is decreasing. That's why your libido may drop, and you start experiencing those mood swings, cramping, heat flashes. Progesterone helps regulate your body temperature. So as that hormone level drops, right as your period hits, you may experience heat flashes or sudden coldness as your body is trying to help regulate the temperature, as you're also losing blood, which will make you feel colder as well. Another thing about the day 1 through 5, as those levels are dropping, once you get past that day 5, towards the end of the follicular phase, right before you hit ovulation, that's when those hormone levels, your estrogen and your progesterone, start to rise again. So during the follicular phase, you have a drop and a rise of those hormones twice. So that also contributes to your mood swings, your libido swings, your depression. When your estrogen levels are low, that can lead to depression. So if you are experiencing an abnormal amount of depression or prolonged periods of depression throughout your cycle, and when I mention your cycle, I'm not just talking about this phase. I'm talking about your entire cycle, all 3 phases, all throughout the month, okay? So if you're experiencing prolonged periods of depression or feeling fatigued, you may have low estrogen levels. If you go to a doctor or holistic doctor, you can have that confirmed, but there are herbs and things that you can take to help increase those levels. So, what is happening when those levels decrease during days 1 through 5 of your follicular phase? If estrogen and progesterone help contribute to building a healthy uterine wall for your embryo to grow, when those levels drop, it causes the uterus to contract and that wall to die and shed. So when those levels drop, the uterus contracts, the wall dies if there's not an embryo in it, and then that cramping is the contracting of all of your muscles working overtime to shed that lining. So if you're having any pelvic floor issues, or if you have any UTI issues, or if you have tight hips or bad posture, you may be experiencing more cramping than normal. If you eat greasy foods, sugary foods, consume a lot of caffeine, you may also feel bloated, which may also contribute to more cramping. The ovaries are also related to your sacral chakra. So if you want to take this a step further and you want to work on your spiritual part of this, then you need to work on your sacral chakra balancing. This will come in line with Kundalini yoga. If you're familiar with Kundalini or you're interested in Kundalini, this is a good time to start those stretches, start tapping into your meditation. If you're doing yoga or you would like to start incorporating simple yoga stretches into your daily routine, this is a great time to incorporate some hip opening yoga poses. There's a lot that you can find on YouTube, on TikTok, very simple. You don't have to put a lot of work and effort into it. Just find a quiet place that you can lay down, that you can sit down, and just open your body, open your spirit, and connect to that sacral chakra. If you're interested in incorporating healing stones into your practice or into your moon time, the stones that you should be looking at are carnelian, citrine, coral, and moonstone. And the color associated with the sacral chakra is orange. So if you want to be visual and have tangible things to incorporate in your meditation and your healing practices during your moon time and your menstruation cycle, wear reds and oranges. Find you some citrine or some moonstone or whatever stone calls to you. Wear it. Put it over your sacral chakra during your hip opening yoga poses. There's so many things that you can do, lots of different combinations of things, whatever calls to you. I also highly recommend drinking lots and lots of water. You can, if you are like me and you're prone to UTIs, I like to put lemon in my water. It's a really great diuretic and will help flush you out. There's lots of herbs that you can take. Hot herbal teas are really great. Avoid caffeine. If you're looking for a good tea to help regulate your bleeding or to reduce cramping and swelling, chamomile, red raspberry leaf, peppermint is really good to help with an upset tummy and indigestion, and there's lots of others. You can do some simple research, or I will do a more in-depth video, or you can simply message me and I'll send you a list of herbs and herbal combinations to make you a good comforting hot tea. So this is also a very intuitive time for women. Since those levels within you are so low and we're tapping into our sacral chakra, this is where all of our sexual energy comes from. This is where our yoni is. Your yoni is your sacred space, your uterus, all of this within your sacral chakra that has the ability to produce life. So in ancient culture, in the time of the matriarchy, when women were held in a higher place, women would go to what was called a red tent. Back when women lived in more community-style villages and tribes, most women were in sync. So if you're in a household with other women, then you may be in sync with them. So imagine living in a whole village with women who are in sync together. So during this time, they would all go to what they would call the red tent. This is where they would support each other, where they would cry together, where they would bleed together, where they would get healthy together, where they would dream, where they would interpret dreams, where they would become so in tune with Source. So this may be a really great time for you to download messages, to get words of knowledge, to have epiphanies about yourself, to learn things about yourself. So take notes, keep a journal, write down your dreams, anything new that you think about, write it down. So that way you can go back later, maybe when you're having a harder time tapping into your intuition, and see how you're growing. So hopefully this gave you a little bit of information, a little inspiration, and motivation to embrace your moon cycle. It is a beautiful, sacred thing, and everyone should enjoy it. Have a great night, and love yourself today.